This first piece I'm going to do is somewhat abbreviated, but it was written in 1966 by Buffalo Springfield. And I can remember as a kid watching compilation commercials about like old music and stuff, and I would always hear this song. Never really cared about it too much until I realized how poignant it was. The song in 1966 is still very relevant today, so. Something happened here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there telling me I got to beware. Saying, stop, children, what's that sound? Everybody look at what's going down. It's going down. It's going down. Battle lines being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their mind. They're getting so much resistance from behind. Yeah. Saying stop, hey, what's that sound? Everybody look at what's going down. It's going down. It's going down. It's going down. It's going down. I released a single today. A single that I got to record with my brother. And it's the first time I think I'd ever written a song for my lady. It's called Better Man. The winds are starting to change. Yeah. But have no fear that there's nothing to be afraid of. No. We've been on this journey for a while, and there's no need to change direction. Chasing after you, and only to you would I surrender, baby. I would go anywhere with you. I would do anything you want me to. Just wanna be your better man, baby. I would go anywhere with you. I would do anything you want me to. Just wanna be your better man. I learned the hard way that nothing ever comes easy. No. Giving up is an easy thing to do. That's right. It's very clear now. I know you deserve better. Yeah, yeah. But I'm not waiting for no sign. I can be better. I'm gonna be better. Oh, and I won't surrender, baby. I would go anywhere with you. I would do anything you wanted me to. Just wanna be your better man, baby. I would go anywhere with you. I would do anything you wanted me to. Just wanna be your better man. I would do anything. Yeah. I would do anything, yeah. Oh, 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 I'm yours, and I won't hold back, no, I won't hold back, no. I'm yours, and I won't hold back, no, I won't hold back, no. Thank you. So this next piece, a while ago for a film that my cousin was shooting. The film was called Draft Dodger, and I was really honored to be a part of it, and more than anything, I was really proud of the song that came out of it. And once again, it seems like as good a time as any to do a song like this. It's called Home Again. When I was 17, never pictured me in this place, heading across the border in the dark of the night with a different face. I'd rather start a new life in this lane than pull the trigger on an innocent man. I want home, feel like home again. I want home, to feel like home again. Mama, please don't shed no tears. Don't shed no tears. I miss the smell of the wet grass in our backyard, or to wake up to the sound of my father as he light a cigarette, turn on the radio. All the things I took for granted, I'll never know again. Oh, I want home, to feel like home again. I want home, to feel like home again. Yeah. this place. I want this place to feel like home again. I want this place, yeah. I want this place to feel like home. Feel like home again, yeah. Thank you very much. I'm gonna do one more song if that's cool, yeah? All right.
I'm doing nothing. I'm like, yeah.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it, man. We can only do one.
Well, this is a song that was recorded in a very electronica sort of way from my first record. I'm going to do it here today. This is called Follow Me. Follow me through the darkness. Follow me through the storm. Hey. Said I know the load can sometimes get a little heavy. Follow me, I'm gonna lead you home. Lead you home, yeah. Lead you home, yeah. Follow me through the darkness. Follow me through the storm, hey. Said I know the load can sometimes get a little heavy. Follow me, I'm gonna lead you home. Lead you home, hey. Follow me through the storm, yeah. Said I know the load can sometimes get a little heavy. Follow me, I'm gonna lead you home. I know that you've been burned before. I know that you've been scorned. But just relax your mind. Oh, don't you worry no more about it, baby. Follow me, I'm gonna lead you home, yeah. That I made some mistakes. Said I know, 'cause you made some too. But want your pride aside. Don't you worry no more about it, baby. Follow me, I'm gonna lead you home, yeah. I know the load can sometimes get a little heavy. Follow me, I'm gonna lead you home. I know the load can sometimes break you down. Follow me, I'm gonna lead you home. Follow me, I'm gonna lead you home. Follow me, and I'll lead. You home. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone, to Black Bull Podcast. It's Sessions editions. Today we got RedRay Frazier in the house.
Hey, now.
Yeah, keep that up really close to you. Yeah.
There you go. Perfect.
Is this thing on?
So RedRay Frazier, he's a musician. I would call you like soul rock, but what would you call yourself?
So for several years I've been touted as the rock and soul troubadour. I enjoy also calling it indie soul and alternative R&B.
The indie comes from the hat.
Hey now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I got a similar one, so I get it. So as usual style, he just performed the songs, but you're gonna hear this first, and I am always amazed at the range that you have, because you start off so soft, and then by the end, you like it was some grunt singing coming through. It was just like expression, and I loved it. It was so powerful.
Thank you. That actually makes me very happy. Starting, I normally start at a very low level, volume-wise, because I'm really just trying to test out my voice.
Warming it up, yeah.
Yeah. But it's there's no shortage of influences in my trick bag, and I like to, I'm not necessarily mimicking anything, but I like to definitely grab hold and display everything that I kind of grew up listening to all in one,
Yeah. So obviously on the podcast, we usually have visual artists.
Yeah.
And now we're bringing on musical artists. And I love trying to figure out and dissect like where your musical mind was set. Like, do you remember an album that changed the way you looked at music?
So I had the benefit of being the youngest of like friends, and also having many older cousins, and also my older brother, who is just a music historian and dope musician. So I was always exposed to a lot of interesting things, but I must say, growing up in the church, I'm the son of a preacher man, and I've heard some of the best music by people that you will never ever hear of, just in my dad's church. So I think I couldn't even tell you who the singers were or who the organist was, but I know that when I was hanging out, or more like being forced to go to church, I was exposed to some serious musicianship, just from the gospel choir.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. We were chatting a little bit before while Alex was getting everything ready, and you mentioned the song Home Again, which
Yes.
is one of the songs you played for us tonight, and you said that you wrote that with an acoustic kind of single person performing in mind.
yes,
And I'm not a musician. I love music, but like I've got zero talent. You don't want me anywhere near singing. But I'd never even considered that you have to write something with the different things in mind. I always just kind of assumed you would convert it either way. So how did you decide that that was the song that needed to be performed that way?
Well, I knew that the theme of the film was to document the story of a draft dodger, and what he must have been feeling when he was trying to get away from fighting in the Vietnam War. And I know the voices that you hear in your head, a lot of times they can be screaming, but the ones that are more quiet are the ones you hear, and you can dissect a little bit more. So it's at least as far as topic is concerned, I knew where I was going with that, but I also knew that the progressions had to support that. So it's a very solitary thing that someone must go through when they're making a decision like that. So I wrote that in mind, keeping that in mind, that it had to be a very solitary performance, and the melodies and the lyrics had to be supported by these chords. So
I dug it, man. That was, I mean, you were there. It was great.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
thank you.
it's funny how you say the voices that are quieter. It kind of reminded me of when you're in a fight, the guy that's talking the most smack is usually like he usually is like the most worthless, but the guy that's quiet, that's
right,
the one
man.
you got to pay attention
Watch
to.
out for that cat,
So
man.
it's almost like that.
Just spinning his key ring in the corner.
Yeah.
So you gotta pay attention to the quiet thoughts.
That's
the
right,
ones that
man.
are like that might be hinting at something, but that's the most valuable.
That's why there
know,
hasn't
the-
been an Italian poet in 500 years. They never shut the fuck up.
That can't possibly be true, man.
I don't know,
Come
man.
on.
How long ago did they write the Odyssey?
So how has the writing process been for you with all the lockdowns and?
Well, it's been interesting. I tell you that. You would think that you have all this time to be very, very creative, right? But this period has brought more stress than anything else. And I don't know about you, but I don't function well when I'm under stress like that. I mean, I have my coping mechanisms, and I'm so glad that you're being sponsored. Who's the sponsor? Do we good to talk about that?
Oh yeah, Smokies to give us the delicious thing, and they haven't decided if they're paying us yet or not, so I'm gonna do that. But no, Smokies gave you guys some CBD stuff, and yeah.
Okay, well, that's one of my coping mechanisms.
There you go.
Thank you, Smokies.
Yes, thank you,
Smokies.
Smokies. Yes. But this period has been a little strange. I mean, I've gone through the highs and lows of creating and not creating. But what this period has taught me is that whatever's being thrown at you, you got to deal with it because it ain't going away. you know?
Yeah, but I mean, when you, as an artist as well, like you get so much inspiration from just experiences and interactions, and these little tiny nuggets will be what drives you to actually create. So I can totally understand why it's more difficult for you, even if you're not an extrovert.
Yeah.
You still see things that make you feel things, and that's what causes you to create a
Yeah,
piece.
you can't have
Absolutely.
output without input.
There
You know
you
what I mean?
go.
There's nothing coming in.
This is very true.
Although
Yeah.
I'm excited for your Screamo album. I can't believe you left the toilet seat up again. That's going to be really intense. Dude, we're going to hear so many intense songs about like people fighting with their significant others about like turning the remote counterclockwise or whatever it is.
Oh,
Just because
yeah.
we spent so much time together.
By the way, for everyone who's listening, that's not Austin who's talking next to me. It's Joe, and
Yeah.
Joe is the other co-owner of Black Bolt.
They
So
invited me on because we have to cover our faces now, which is kind of rude.
so he's a voice you're not too familiar with, but he's a great guy. So the jokes are
I'll vouch
from-
for that.
from
Nah,
Joe.
thanks,
yeah.
bud. Well, dude, I was really excited that you wanted to come on, man. I mean, for real, we've known each other since what? I was like 15, 16. I've known you for quite a while.
Yeah, it's been probably about, I would imagine, 8 years at least, right?
Oh, well, I wish so. Maybe I've known you since I was 20. God, I'm older than I
Okay.
thought.
Oh,
But yeah, dude, it's been a
certainly.
minute.
Oh, this is very good.
Yeah, it's good days.
Yeah.
Yes.
well,
Cheers,
well,
brother.
Yeah, this is a good time. We've been really enjoying these the music sessions. It's definitely a different vibe for us, but it's interesting because musicians they're the same but different. You know what I mean? Like, because like
That different thing is real.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, but like in comparison to the visual artists, like a lot of the visual artists, they might not be. They have a little bit more of a shield, so they can say an expression that might be really dark and messed up, but at the same time, like that goes out into the world, and their face isn't on it, so they can do things that whereas a musician, like unless if you're Dead Mouse or someone who's covering their head
Or
up, like
Sia
it
or anything
is-
like that. Yeah.
it's you.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know if it's added like vulnerability, if you'd call it, but that does exist.
I like to think that I don't watch my step all that much, but yeah, for those reasons you just mentioned, sometimes you do think about things just a little bit more. I mean, look, I when I decided to do music professionally and write songs for other people to hear, whether I think it or not, I am thinking about whether someone is going to like it or not. So, yes, there is a certain vulnerability, and you're trying to walk a certain line, because look, I mean, we all need edits as well,
Yeah.
And I've chosen to write within the constructs of I guess contemporary music, so to speak. So yeah, there's a certain vulnerability, and you worry about whether your music will be accepted or not. I think I've been doing it long enough now, though, Alex, that yes, of course, I want everyone to love what I do, but it's more important for me to really love what I'm presenting.
But also, I mean, this has kind of been a recurring thing that I've seen, is that you have to find your audience or let your audience find you. So sometimes you might get a lot of negative criticism, but you have to deep down know that that's just not your audience talking to you right there.
But sometimes the criticism could be pretty accurate. Maybe I did hang on that verse just a little bit too long, and maybe I should have edited that one, But yeah, it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
And if the criticisms are too harsh, there's a million other directions for that particular person to go in to find what it is they dig. And I'm not going to think too hard on it. I'm not new. So it's I've been working on this for a long time, and I've finally gotten to a point where I think Pharrell says it best. His music is other, right?
I like that.
Yeah, me too. And if you adopt that thought, you can include all of your influences.
Yes. You don't get stuck in this pipe of an established genre that someone else determined for you.
True that, man.
Where would you say you find most of your inspiration for music?
Well, I think it comes from mostly a feeling, and I mean, I wish I could say that I was up on everything new, and could recite every artist that hits me, but I really can't. I mean, I know that I like experimental, and I do find myself listening to a lot of older stuff. Nina Simone, like Donny Hathaway. I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't say Stevie Wonder or Marvin Gaye.
Oh, yeah.
But I also dig like younger artists, more contemporary artists like Leon Bridges or Gary Clark Jr. Or Brittany Howard is like one of my absolute favorites from Alabama Shakes.
Oh yeah.
And and I dig those artists because, man, they live outside of a box. They cross a whole lot of genres. They melt a lot of things together, and I think I'm doing that. if I'm not, that's what I'm aspiring to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially when you reference Brittany Howard. I mean,
I can hear that. That it show in the most complimentary way.
Yeah.
You can hear that. Like, yeah, there's something.
It's like an unapologetic emotion. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen her live, and I was blown away. I thought it was just. I was like walking away. I couldn't stop talking about her. I was
give
like,
me all, give me all your love. Like there was some of that. Like and I couldn't place it. Thank you. That was perfect, man.
I'll just say thank you.
Oh, dude, you just performed for us, man. There's 6 of us here. Thank you, brother.
I imagine that the stage after Brittany Howard performed had like heel marks from her just stomping and singing and just going for it.
I'm surprised there was any stage left.
Yeah, right.
Oh God, right?
Just stomping it, chopping wood.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a really cool cross section that you acknowledged about having respect for your listener, but also having artistic integrity, because like, you want people to like it, but you also have to love the music you're making. Like it's candid in a way that a lot of artists aren't. They would have this idea that I'm just going to make it for me and people will figure it out or they won't. But music's kind of different. If you're doing visual art, you can have a painting in the corner, and if someone doesn't like it, they don't have to look at it. But if they're playing music in an area, you're kind of exposing the whole group to it, right?
Otherwise stay at home.
Exactly. So do you write music with like an environment in mind? Like, do you like, okay, someone's going to enjoy this song in this setting? Does that ever happen for you? Like, you even brought up Son of a Preacher Man, and forever that's always going to remind me of Pulp Fiction. But you know what I mean? Do you ever have moments like that where you like, you write a song, or does it ever go back and forth? You know what I mean? Like,
it does. It goes back and forth. Joe, I play in so many different kinds of venues. You know, I play in and that's what I love about live music. It sort of it shapes itself to the venue itself.
Yeah.
And that's why there's no venue too big or too small for me.
Yeah.
So when I grew up. I cut my teeth really young in the music business, man. I was a kid when I got my first record deal.
Wow.
And,
how old were you?
Well, I never tell my age.
Okay, yeah.
But I wasn't allowed in clubs.
Okay,
all
right, perfect.
And not by a long shot.
Wow. Okay.
But my first record deal was I was signed by A&M Records, and I was in a group called the Brat Pack. And I was produced by CNC Music Factory.
No way.
And if anyone does not know who CNC Music Factory is, everybody dance now.
Dun, 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 dun.
See?
Oh yeah, they also produced En Vogue, who was like someone I was obsessed with as a kid.
Dude, you love En Vogue.
I love En Vogue, and it confused my dad so much. Like little 10-year-old me, he's like, "Where did you even find this fucking CD?"
He said as a kid, but I've caught him listening to that today.
I carries through. I left Blue's Clues behind, but I held on to En Vogue.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. See, that's amazing. Well, so that's that. So I mean, how? 2 questions. 1, how are they, and how is their cocaine?
Well, never any drugs on the scene.
Par for the best.
And the late great David Cole, I loved him dearly. He passed away some years ago. But Robert Clavillis, they were an interesting team, and I so enjoyed working with them because Robert was a bit more aggressive, and David was a lot more like me. A bit more soft spoken, and they had an incredible balance, so I was so young in it that whatever they said, I was going to do my best to present at least how I could present it. But man, it was nerve-wracking to work with them. I mean, that being my first foray into really being a part of the music business.
Yeah.
And
I bet you had a lot of fears, honestly, because I mean, do you hear about all the nightmares of the music industry? And being so young, you probably had an understanding that you're in the world of potentially making a bad move that could last longer than you wanted.
Well, fortunately, not fortunately and unfortunately, not enough people knew about the Brat Pack for that to have any lasting damage.
Yeah.
But we did make it to the left side of the pop charts.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, we made it to left side. We were in the top 20, I believe, at some point.
Wow.
Yeah. It was.
That's
It
fantastic.
was pretty dope.
They once got in a street fight with Menudo.
I was gonna say it's kind of like Menudo. Like you start off in like a pretty like a relatively respected group, and then you branch off and do your own thing.
Well, so yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because
I'm
Menudo.
so excited.
Let's hear it.
So
Okay, who
I can't
was
say,
Ricky Martin quiet and he was spinning a blade?
I didn't know Ricky Martin, but I did meet on a number of occasions Robbie Ramos, who produced Living La Vida Loca, who was also in Menudo with Ricky Martin.
Wow.
And he was a dope musician, songwriter, producer. And after the Menudo days, he was in a band called Maggie's Dream. Like, I grew up in New York City, and these cats, they made some MTV splash, but maybe they didn't achieve. We're talking about Maggie's Dream. They didn't achieve that same success that Menudo achieved. But man, I would pay to see those cats any day of the week.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know how we got to this point, but
Well, speaking of,
so kind of what I was gonna ask though is like, because we're in this world where live music doesn't really exist right now.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, I mean, you brought up, like your influences and stuff like that. I mean, we can go to like, Stevie Wonder and stuff like that. Like, he wrote some songs that he knows people are gonna fuck to, or he wrote a song that this is gonna happen to, or that's gonna happen to. My question was like, do you, like, someone's got a CD, they got an MP3, they got iTunes, they got Spotify, whatever it is, they put on RedRay, like, do you ever think about where they're going to enjoy your music, or like what the situation is going to be? Because you could very easily be the narrative to someone's first dance, or like a moment that they fell in love, or a moment that they broke up. I mean, there's a lot of responsibility there. You know what I'm saying?
There is a lot of responsibility, and yes, I do think about that.
So does it come one way or the other? Which direction?
It doesn't happen any which way at any given time. I mean, you just have to be open to when it makes itself known to you.
Yeah.
And you kind of figure out. The song will tell you where it's going to go, but you have to be open to letting it go that direction, man. So if it's going to be a baby making song, don't make it an abstract jazz tune. Make
help someone find a rhythm.
Just make it nice and simple. And let the vibe be felt.
That's very cool. I like that. Let the song lead you. That's very cool.
I mean, that's that little voice in your head that's driving you.
Voice,
the muse smiles upon you.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
The voice that's spinning the blade in the corner, right?
Exactly.
I wrote, co-wrote with this song called "To My Dying Day," and it's really quite a sad song, but most people, when they hear it, and it's in my catalog from years ago, and I co-wrote it with some really fabulous musicians. But as I mentioned, the song is called "To My Dying Day," but the chorus is "I'll always love you."
Yeah.
And not in the Whitney Houston sort of way.
Yeah.
But so a lot of people only hear that and they think it's a beautiful love song. And I've had people walk down the aisle to this song.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's.
Well, I mean, I'm immediately reminded of Pumped Up Kicks and Semi-Trum Kind of Life. One's about a school shooting, and the other one's about doing meth.
Right.
And one of those was in a Disney movie.
That's crazy.
People don't realize how messed up Pumped Up Kicks is. Like you better run.
Boy, Semi-Trum Kind of Life is about passing out on meth.
No kidding, man.
Yeah.
No kidding.
But I kind of enjoy. I mean, I don't know if it's just me, but I kind of like things that look pretty but are a little fucked up.
Oh yeah, man.
That's why we became friends.
Yeah. I can't tell you. I mean, I do have to make a concerted effort to write happy songs, and I performed a song, "Better Man." That's It's released today.
Yeah.
Check it out on Spotify.
Yes, check it out on Spotify or Bandcamp or wherever you can download and stream music.
Plug it all you want. This is about you, man.
For
This
real,
is
man.
seriously about you.
This is
So
a platform to let cool artists like show off, and you fucking did, bro. Great
Well,
work.
thank you, brother. I really appreciate that. And you know, it's also nice to talk about how or look. I try and let you know the interpreter. Yeah, I'm doing okay over here.
Just make sure.
I try and let the interpreter of the song interpret it the way they see fit. And the same goes for who is following you know, my music. You can't pick and choose that stuff. All you can do is play it, deliver it, and let it be, you know. But I generally do not write love songs, you know.
Yeah.
And to write this song that was released today, Better Man, for
on Spotify and Bandcamp.
Spotify, Bandcamp.
Well, it was for your lady.
It was for my lady. Yes.
Do you mind saying her name, the first name or whatever? Give her some love.
My beautiful wife, Athena. You know,
There you go, yeah.
the only
Hey.
reason why I do not say that, Athena's in the house. She's always here.
Yeah, there you go.
She does not like to be on blast.
Okay, cool.
You know, but she is now. You know,
Joey, remove her Instagram from the video.
do not do
Just
that.
take her ad off
Yeah.
real quick.
Too bad.
Well, I have a question for you. Like, what would you say you want your fans to listen for in not just your music, but in music in general?
I would.
It's a thinker.
It is a thinker. My first response to that would be, listen to whatever you want, whatever makes you feel good. You know, and don't let anyone tell you that it's not what you should be listening to. You know.
I like that.
That's awesome, dude. There's so many music snobs today.
There's a lot.
That
And
is refreshing.
if something makes you feel something, and I think that's the same with art as well. Like if you see something and it makes you either A, feel something, or B, think about life, that's a good piece of artwork in my eyes.
I agree.
We're gonna capture this.
I
And
agree.
next time someone says I knew about them before they were cool, I'm gonna say if you can play the songs that Ray can, then you can say that shit. We have fucking proof. We have a verified talented individual over here saying to stop being a dick about music. I fucking
I
love it.
agree.
Well, look, I mean,
Yeah.
if you know, that's why the term guilty pleasure is so amazing. I mean, I mean, if you hashtag guilty pleasures, that means you can get away with loving whatever you love. Come on, man, just love it and don't worry about it.
You
You know?
sold me a Paisley shirt, like a guilty pleasures. Like,
Hey,
yeah,
man.
absolutely.
There's some paisleys on your. I see some
been there.
paisleys on your bandana.
Exactly,
too,
man. Dude, you gotta do it. You gotta do it.
You got him hooked now.
That's
Yeah,
right. That's
dude.
right.
well,
go ahead,
we don't. I was gonna. Well, if there's something else you want to add,
No,
yeah.
I just wanted to ask like one last thing, just because I enjoy so much like how passionate you are about everything that you do. If you could give people any kind of advice on like
Totally.
turning pro,
Totally.
you know what I mean? Because like I was fortunate enough to be your friend when you kind of like, I mean, you've done it several times, but you were just like, no, I'm just a full-time musician
And
now.
it's tough to do that as a musician.
exactly.
People don't realize that.
Yeah, and I'm always interested in that transition, you know, because it's scary to take whatever leap it is, right? So what, you know, do you have any advice for people that are on the cusp for whatever it is and just deciding that, you know what, I'm going to go all in on this thing?
There's no substitute. There's no substitute for going all in. You just can't do. You can't prepare for it. And no one can tell you the exact route to take. So before I was all in with music for a long time. I mean, before I moved to Portland, I mean, you know, I grew up in New York City. And I don't know if you've heard, but New York City is really expensive.
Yeah.
But you know, but I made a living as a kid, as a young guy, and as a very, very young adult, doing music because it's what I knew. So you know, accounting is hard for me.
Yeah.
You know, all right. Being you know, contract work is hard for me. But playing music, that's you know, that's what I do, and if that's what anyone else does, do it, because I don't think that you can be as good at doing anything else. So try your passion, you know, and show up on time, you know.
Right.
And I mean, that's a big deal, man. I mean, I can't tell you how many gigs I've gotten and maintained because I simply show up on time, you know, and just and be open, but know your worth. I mean,
You gotta try.
yeah.
Gotta try.
You seem like a guy that's acutely aware of mutual respect. You've spoken about it in the way that people receive your music. You're speaking about it in the way that someone's willing to pay you. Like I think that's an important thing for the artistic type to hear. You know what I mean? Like I love stuff like that. You know what I mean? You and I know each other. You've met my family. Like, you know, it's like that stuff's important. So it's cool to hear someone as talented as you espouse that. So yeah.
Well, unless you're working from a bubble and in a complete vacuum, you have to have mutual respect. You know, naturally respect those who respect you, but it's that word, it goes a long way. You know. Yeah, and common decency, you know, that goes a long way. You can have all these things and be, you know, and be creative and create something that's lasting. You know, no one says you have to be a dick, you know, to create something strong. You know.
I wholeheartedly agree with you on that, and it seems like the more that we grow in these industries, you hear a lot of people saying that it's like you gotta kind of be an asshole. And I'm like, I don't think you do. I think you just have to have a strong vision of what you want.
There it is, man.
Yeah.
You know what? And like, if you have a defined vision, people will see that, they'll understand it, and not only that, but they'll respect it.
Yeah, man. Get to know yourself,
and that's when they'll listen to you.
Absolutely, man.
Where can people find you, by the way?
Oh man. I mean, the easiest place is RedRayFrazier.com. But I'm on all the socials, and you know, you could find me on, you know, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever. RedRay Frazier. It's very easy, you know, and you know, I'd even post. No, I'm not going to post my phone number up here. But
no, but you'll be performing once the bars open back up. I've seen you at Alberta Street Pub. I've seen you somewhere else. I've seen you perform, and you crush it every time. The vibes are amazing.
Thank you,
You
brother.
get the people dancing, and that's what's, in my opinion, most important.
Hey,
they're feeling it.
It's a release, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's a release, and there's no gig too big or too small. I will literally play them all.
Yeah, you just played in a room with like 6 people, so
and I was as nervous as I can remember.
it's this is a strange environment. Like, if for everyone who doesn't know, I mean, he's playing in a photography studio, you know, so it's not your usual venue by any means.
Yeah, it's a nice photography studio though, y'all.
Well, you're a nice friend and a nice musician, and thank you for everything, brother.
Thank you for
Honestly,
everything.
Thank you for having me.
I want to add one last thing. Thanks to everyone who has been reaching out on Instagram and YouTube, who likes this, who wants to be a part of this. You guys mean the most to me, so I want to thank you. And with that being said, I appreciate you, RedRay. I call you RedRay Frazier every time.
Yeah, that's all good,
Love you, man.
That's all
Nothing but
good.
love all around. So,
oh man, I got it back for you, man. Yes.
appreciate you.
Thanks, brother.
Yes. Thank you.
Have a good one,
Thank
everyone.
you. Yes.